taking steps forward, about experiencing various things throughout each stage of it. And that means change. And I've currently gone through a big change in life, being the first step towards a higher education. And while I haven't been, at it very long, I've already accumulated a few stories that I'd like to share with you. So, with that being said, hey, what's going on, geeks? Maxusthebeast here, and welcome back to Story Time. Now, I know it's been far too long since I've done this series, but we're back in beeswax, telling some stories from my early days here at college. So, what's going on? Well, I'm still trying to adjust. Of course, it's barely been a month. But already I've had a lot happen that is a very big, drastic change from high school. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way than it being that. Because that's what college is supposed to be. It's supposed to be tougher than high school. But it's also supposed to be full of different experiences that you just wouldn't experience in high school. But one that I have experienced in high school that I was always dreading in college were group projects. Now, I'm sure that some of you watching this video right now 100% relate to this. Where, high school, you have certain types of people in your group project. You have the people who care and who will do their work. You have the person who will do a little bit of it, but then basically leave one person to do the rest. You have the person that's only focused on their part of the deal, and once they're done, they don't care anymore. So it's really up to everybody else to piece together what is going on, and that one guy just nopes out. And then there's the person who does everything, who, if everybody else slacks off, they will be the person to take up the mantle of the person who designs a PowerPoint, if it's a presentation, the person who designs a poster board, designs everything, the person who speaks, the person who literally submits the thing, the person who literally does anything under the sun. And more times than not in high school, I was that person. If my group didn't participate, it was up to me to do literally everything, while my group would sit back and do whatever. Well, in my human diseases course, I know it's kind of a strange topic, but I really like it. We have two group presentations this semester. The first one was literally like week 3, which is earlier than any other presentation I've had to do in my school career, as usually presentations were reserved to the end of semester or end of the year. This was basically first and foremost of the semester, which was kind of throwing for a loop, not to mention having a herd cats of a group. So I decided to try to take initiative early and get the names of my group members. Since it was posted online, our groups are posted online, so we didn't really have to select anybody, so there was no awkward, hey, do you want to be in my group thing? But I found my group members, we set up a group chat, and for a while we didn't really do anything because, again, we got our group chat set up about 2 weeks before the presentation was due. But we didn't really do anything for a while because we all were busy with other things. We just didn't have time. But then eventually, one of the group members reaches out and says, guys, we gotta get this presentation done. Okay, so we start meeting at the library, about once a week or so. Or sorry, once a day. So for 3 consecutive days, we were at the library together, working hard, and we actually extended our meetings to twice a day on a couple days, because first we had to research everything. We researched together in a group because while we were each covering a different segment, our topic was disease causation theory throughout history. While one of the group members covered early times, I covered the Middle Ages, and the other group member covered modern day. We had to do research on each independent part. Now, I believe I've stressed in the past in previous story times how much I love medieval disease and things, so really, I didn't need that much research, but for the sake of having sources to cite, I just found a few sources related to what I was going to be talking about, like four humors, plague doctors, that sort of thing. Just found sources to go back to, and we just did research together. We had to use Google Docs, which until now I've had no experience with, but now I sort of live on it because it is incredibly useful, especially being able to carry across different computers, so I don't have to constantly like email myself documents if I want to work on things at let's say a different building. But everything's transferable, so I can just pull up Google Docs, sign in, and then select my document. But with Google Docs, you can share a document so that people you send the link to can edit it as well. So we were all working on one Google Doc, typing in our research notes on one page all together. If I found a resource that linked to something that one of my teammates was talking about, I would submit a link underneath their section so they could take a peek at it, and if they felt like anything was useful, they could use it. And something else I have had no experience with is PowerPoint. Most of my presentations in the past, no, sorry, not even most of, all of my presentations in the past were using a poster board. The only one presentation I've ever had, I used a video. I had a video rolling in the background while I talked over it. It was actually gameplay of Subnautica because my presentation was on how Subnautica used terror and fear into making a different type of horror game. It was kind of based off the idea of a YouTube video I saw. So I of course credited that as my original idea, but then I kind of went a bit deeper than that. But I've had no experience with PowerPoint. I never had to do anything with it. I didn't understand the format, so really this presentation kind of fell to me. I had one of my teammates offer to do it, and to his credit, he did 3 slides in one night. But the next day, it's the weekend before the presentation. We meet at the library because original plan was it was going to be me and this guy who was going to start on the PowerPoint. We were just going to talk through what he did and then see if we can add pictures and then move from there. But it turned out that I thought that one of my group members was going to be busy, but turns out they weren't. So we ended up having a full meeting, everybody together, and we got the PowerPoint done. We coordinated together on each set of slides. We did an opening slide, slides for the early times, slides for medieval, slides for modern day, and then our reference page, which we saved to work on last. We went through all our slides, found fitting images, and I guess my friend, but my group member had found a source that was a journal entry from, well, I think it was like a witch doctor or something. No, sorry, it wasn't a witch doctor, it was a priest. Saying the same difference in this context. Describing how this guy thought that there was a demon possessing some dude who was sick. And the journal entry just went on for ages, but we had to cite it. We use APA. And again, I wasn't familiar with APA. Everything else I've been using MLA and occasionally Chicago. So I don't know how to use AP or cite APA. But thankfully, Google is a strong enough tool to help me through that. So anyway, after a quick Google search, I figured out how to cite APA. My professor had also uploaded a document on basic APA format stuff on Canvas. So I was like, okay, cool, I can just pull up that as a reference. So we cited our sources, but we had to cite dates. For the journal source, the date was literally some years ago, and without very specific detail, I just cited some years ago. Because what else? I mean, I honestly could probably just gonna put in like made up a date, because there was no given date. But I thought some years ago it sounded better. So now we have like a little inside joke going on in between myself and my group. And now if I pass one of my group members on campus, I'm like, some years ago. They'll turn and look at me. You know, the group member who came in late, you know, she'll look at me now and just be like, really? But the guy who cited the source still finds it funny. Anyway, so the presentation ended up going really well. We had to also design a Kahoot quiz, which went pretty well too. Have to do another group presentation in a few weeks too, so that's gonna be fun. But we did really well, but I now know what I could do better for my next peer presentation, as it's called. But that's my first real group presentation, and it was definitely a different experience. Not something I was really looking forward to, but turned out to be a lot better than I thought it would be. Next off, we have another story from group projects. In my education course, mainly talking about human development, we went over a bunch of basic stuff, but this one day we got separated into groups, and it was actually Tuesday of this week. We got separated into groups. We were to use our textbooks to find examples of child development, whether that be through, let's say, physical changes. That was for one group. Ours was for motor skills. So we each had to write down one fact from the book on a piece of paper, and then when our names were called, we'd go up there and present our facts. And we found a bunch of facts. We wrote down 5 because that was the requirement. And we were basically ready to go, right? Well, the other groups, once they finished, they were still talking to each other and planning out stuff. Still talking and discussing what are we going to say. My group instantly deterred to start talking about, honestly, I don't even remember. It was something about hydro flasks. I do remember the fact that somebody had lost their hydro flask in their business class, and they're going to have to go back after the education course and pick it up. There are a lot of Visco girls in this education course. I mean, thankfully no one says NIU, but a lot of hydro flasks, a lot of scrunchies, and okay, I get this is ironic, but this one girl went it was out of it was meant to be ironic. I get it. It's a joke. I understand. I'm not stupid. I didn't get whooshed. So we eventually get up there to present, and it does not go well. We had no chronological order to our events, and I ended up going first, and my anxiety levels just went through the roof. And so instead of saying or trying to put things into chronological order, I just ended up just saying, oh, firstly, the kid knows how to roll over. It was to crawl. That's not chronologically correct, but we eventually clarified that nothing in our presentation or our little exhibition was meant to be taken as chronological fact. But I don't really know how we did grade-wise, but I hope we didn't do awful, because I did try, but, you know, my group didn't do great. But you win some, you lose some. I know what to do better next time. I try to take more initiative in my group. Not let them drift off to talking about hydro flasks or whatever. Trying to keep them on topic. But again, that's just both sides of the coin as far as group projects go. Had a good experience, had a bad experience. That's typically how things go. Have another group presentation coming up soon. And I'm kind of looking forward to it in a way. Anyway, y'all, I don't really have much to say for this one. I'll be back with some more stories in the future, of course. Especially as this college year progresses. Again, y'all, thank you for your time today, for watching this video, and as always, Maxusthebeast is out.